Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Kalle. I'm a boat builder from Finland. My partner and I bought this 1971 Hallberg-Rassy Mistress 32 from Sweden. Only problem is we live in Finland, so the plan is to fix the boat just enough to sail her to Finland, where I will begin the full restoration. Oh yeah, and the boat's name is Beatrice. Well, I'm back on the boat. It's kind of cold and it's kind of rainy, which is weird because it's already the end of May. Yesterday apparently it was 20 degrees and then the day I leave it's going to be 20 degrees again. Hopefully I'll get something done though, because the next time I come here we'll be putting it in the water. I want to finish with the engine, so install the fuel filter. I have some diesel now, so I can try and turn it over, see if it starts. I hope it starts. It should start. It will start. And then I'm going to finish what I started with the through-hull fittings. I'm going to do a little bathroom work, or the toilet pump, the manual pump, the hand pump. I'm going to replace that. And then stanchion posts. I'm going to try to get as many of those sort of resealed. And that will be it. I only have like 2.5 days. So without further ado, I will get to work on probably the stanchions now, because it's not raining and I can do something outside. Oh yeah, and I also put up the tent. I had to try it out. I think it looks nice. It looks kind of funny when you look at it from the outside of the boat, but it's super handy. So if you saw my last video, you would know that the deck is leaking inside from somewhere, and I have a pretty good suspicion that it's these stanchion posts, which are very loose and also bedded with silicone, which has very much deteriorated over time and doesn't really do any job of sealing these bolt holes. So what I'm doing here is that I'm just scraping the silicone off and just kind of cleaning the base a little bit. And I'm putting some butyl cord or tape around the bolts, and this is a pretty quick way to keep the water out, at least for the journey to Finland, because the deck needs a renovation in any case, and all of this is going to come out. So not trying to be too fancy here, just quick and dirty. So my friend turned me on to this butyl tape, so I get it in a packet like this. And it's just a roll, so it looks like that, and it's quite nice to use. Just sort of snap off a little bit and then kind of twist it with your fingers, make like a nice little blob. Same thing here. So thanks to Andreas, it's so much easier than using something like Sika or any sort of like messy tube of stuff. All right, time to do the engine. It seems that I was so tired that I forgot to plug in my microphone to the camera, so you'll have to excuse the audio for these next clips. I forgot to bring my oil filter tool, so I had to use the old school method of a hose clamp and a flathead. It was quite stuck, but I managed to get it off, and I even managed to get the new fuel filter on without spilling any of the pre-filled diesel. After I had bled the fuel system, it was time to see if the engine would start. Okie dokie, so the engine maintenance is done. New fuel filters in there. I got a new battery in there as well. I took off the hose to the water filter and put a bucket in there. I guess we see if it starts. And nothing. So I tried again. And nothing still.
Thankfully, I had just been a bit stupid and I had only put the ignition to glow and not all the way to start. So I tried again. And had success. Which meant that engine maintenance was officially done.
Remember how I said that engine maintenance is done? Well, I then realized that of course it's been sitting for 6 years, so not only does it need the transmission fluid, but it also needs the coolant, which I had completely forgotten about. And in order to get the coolant out, you have to access a bolt which is on the back of the engine. I ripped everything out, so it's behind there where I need to get to, and in order to get the piece that was here, I had to undo a lot of screws. I even had to undo the entire alternator, which is good because it seemed to be in sort of like misalignment. Also, while I was here, I saw that the kitchen pump, the galley pump, which works with your foot, it was leaking, so I had to tear that out. So I gotta find a replacement set of gaskets for that before we go anywhere.
The next morning, I got to work installing the through-hull fitting, which I had cleaned last time. After that, I thought I would treat myself and do a little bit of teak restoration in the cockpit area, because it was just driving me nuts to see all this old varnish flaking off. So I scraped off the old varnish, gave it a bit of a sand, and then put some teak oil on everything. I will be varnishing all these pieces later on, but for now oil will do because we have a bit of a tight schedule. While the oil was drying, I installed new batteries and then I started to have a look to see if there was any life in the electronics in the boat. So I got the electronics working, and yeah, I was super happy with how this cockpit also turned out after the oil had dried. I also did a little bit on this teak deck on the cabin top, just to see how it would look. And then I also replaced the heads pump. I got so comfortable in the boat that I decided that I'd just sleep here instead of the car, and it was a very good sleep. The next morning, I had to rush to the ferry again, so that concludes this episode. Thanks for watching. Next time, I will be joined by Anne-Marie and a couple of friends to help us put this boat in the water. So, see you then.